Hey everybody, welcome to This Week in Real Estate. I'm John Evarts with California Leasing. Super excited. We have a really fun show today. This is my friend Martin.
Hey.
He's going to be co-hosting with us. This is the great Mike Emerson.
Seriously,
I mean, if we added up our years of experience in real estate, we've seen some stuff.
Oh, thank you.
This is a special show, and Mike, I really appreciate you doing this topic. This is a super high value video. Stick with us, because if you were thinking about selling your house, even if for some weird reason you don't use Mike, you're going to want this information.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So the information would be pre-listing inspections. It's something that you don't hear a lot about. And why don't you? They make so much sense. So why don't more sellers do a pre-listing home inspection and termite inspection before they put their home on the market? Well, there's three main reasons.
Well, let me ask you, if we can back up for a second. In a traditional real estate transaction, if you've ever done one, typically what happens is you sign the listing, they take some pictures, put it on the market, somebody makes an offer, you go into escrow, you have a 17-day contingency removal period, and they are supposed to get their home inspection done in that period, give you a list of requested repairs, right? Is that, would you say that's like the normal?
Yeah.
So what you're doing is proposing something non-traditional that has amazing value.
Yeah, well, there's two negotiations that go on in a real estate deal. The first one's the easiest one. As a seller, that's when you accept an offer. The one that gets more difficult as a seller is the second one. Like when you just mentioned that the buyer has 17 days in order to do inspections. At the end of the 17 days, they can leave a deal based on those inspections. The buyer gains a lot of bargaining leverage in that 17 days over the seller. That's 17 days that your home has been off the market. You've lost all your marketing momentum. You're ready to move. You've made all the plans. You've got moving plans going on. You are in move mode. And all of a sudden, at the end of 17 days, now the buyer comes back in after doing their inspections and has a list of repairs that they want you to take care of. Or worse, something comes up in the inspection that alarms them to the point where they walk away from the deal.
Yeah, I mean, we've all seen this.
We've all seen that.
This is not like a one-off situation where you have a deal blow up during that 17-day period.
So what you're recommending is you're having your listings do their own inspection before you actually go to market, right? This is part of the setup work that you're doing with your clients.
Yeah, in most cases, there's no one size fits all when it comes to a listing. Not every listing demands to have the pre-listing inspections, but I would say that most of them do, and you could benefit from doing for most listings to do one. And why don't folks do them? Well, they're expensive.
Yeah. What are the cons to this?
Yeah, the cons are first of all, they're expensive. A home inspection by a reputable inspector will be at least $500, depending on the size of the home, of course, and the equipment and stuff that they need to inspect. If you have a swimming pool and they need to get up on the roof and things like that, can get to be even more expensive.
Bigger house, multiple AC units, all that kind of
all
stuff.
All that stuff, yeah. So they can get really pricey. Second reason why, a second con might be the fact that they do not replace the buyer inspection. So the inspections that we've just talked about at the end of 17 days, these inspections don't replace that. You know, the buyer could pick up the report that the seller does at the beginning, but most likely they're going to do their own later on in 17 days.
I mean, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, but one of the cons that I think is probably at the forefront is the word fear.
Yeah. Are
they afraid of what this report might reveal to a potential seller and be like, okay, do I need to deal with this repair? Or, you know, if they turn up that there's a major defect at the property, an air conditioner. Well, if there's air conditioning, they probably know that one, but something that might be more unknown, like mold or something. We were talking about that earlier. Does that stifle people from wanting to do this, or how do you overcome that?
I absolutely think that is the number one reason why we don't see more pre-listing inspections, and that's actually probably the best argument for doing one.
Right. That's the reason to do it.
It is the reason for doing it.
Deal with what you know and not the unknowns, because like you said, you wait for 17 days, now the buyer has all the leverage to come back and renegotiate.
Well, and the truth is that even if you don't do the pre-listing inspection because you're afraid of what might get found out, If that gets found out even after escrow closes and the new buyer, the new homeowner's in here, that can still come back and bite you.
Oh, big time.
You want to flush these things out and get them.
You bring up
taken
a
care of,
great
right?
point, because it's an added disclosure. Right now you have a neutral third party doing an inspection of the home. Not only have you disclosed everything that you know about the home, but you've had a neutral third party also do a report, and you give all that on over to the buyer. You've been as transparent as you possibly can
Transparency
be.
is at the top level.
Yeah, exactly, because invariably when there's a lawsuit involving a real estate transaction, almost always comes back down to the disclosures. What did the
Totally.
But now you're providing that, and like I think you said earlier, that doesn't preclude the buyer getting their own. How often do you see buyers either accepting the seller's inspection report or actually going out and saying, yeah, that's nice, but I'm going to do my own? What does that look
Yeah,
like?
it happens occasionally. It kind of depends on the price level and the type of home that you have. On the lower price levels, where the buyers are maybe really scraping to get in, they're more apt to go ahead and go, hey, the inspection's already been done.
And they'll
It's
accept
been
that.
done by somebody that's well known in the community. My guy would have used this one anyway, or
Yep.
so why not just go ahead and work off of that report with the request for
I
repairs?
mean, I got to tell you, Mike, I love this idea, and I know it's expensive and it's tough to, put money out of your pocket before the property even goes on the market, because you're probably doing things like cleaning and paint and pressure washing or whatever. But why would somebody want to use you to sell their house when it comes to this pre-listing inspection?
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
What I'm asking is, do you pay for the dang thing or not?
I do. That's a service I provide for my clients.
That's amazing.
I believe in these so strongly that I'm just willing to go ahead and put my money where my mouth
I
is and
love
help
it.
them prepare their home for showing, truly prepare their home for showing.
Yeah, see, that's got to help you though as a realtor. I mean, great, you're providing a great service, but as a realtor, as you identify issues, you can help them now strategize what's going to do. So you're 2 steps ahead of your competition just because you're providing this service. And I love the fact that you're covering that cost. I'm sure your clients love that too. But I don't think people sometimes recognize the value that you're bringing is much greater than the $500 or $600 that you're
Totally.
probably out of pocket on
Yeah.
to do this, because it gives you a better quality listing because of the transparency. But again, I think we were talking about earlier in a situation where there was a discovery of mold.
Yeah.
Well, you were able to cure that before you officially went to market. So now, even though it might be disclosed, the problem's been cured.
Yeah, it's
so
a
they're not
non-issue.
going to come
No
and ask
nasty
you for,
surprises that
they're not going to be
blow up the
asking
deal.
you for thousands of dollars in repair requests when maybe you got it solved for another $500 or whatever it was.
Yeah. When it comes to negotiating, it's always better to know what the other side is going to find out ahead of time.
100%.
That's awesome. Yep.
Yeah.
I love that you said, the pre-listing inspection keeps some of the leverage in your corner during that first 17 days of the deal. I don't think people understand how important that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do
Mhm.
not want to lose leverage in a high 6-figure, 7-figure transaction. I mean, that can be a real nightmare.
Yeah, especially in this market, the seller's
Absolutely.
already beginning with the leverage. Let's keep it with if you're selling, let's keep it with the seller.
Yeah, man. Trying to think, I know there are some other benefits, but what an
Yeah.
absolutely huge value that you
Yeah,
offer.
it can help you in all sorts of ways. Once you have the reports back, then you can go over them and decide what makes sense to do and what doesn't. Obviously you want to take care of major systems and safety issues. Those are really at the very top of the ladder of things to take care of. Take those off the table and away. However, if the seller's strapped, and they don't have the money, they don't want to do the repairs, maybe they're afraid of opening up a can of worms and it becoming even more expensive, well then we just can factor that into the price. So the
Sure.
pre-listing inspections can help you with your pricing as well.
Absolutely, and it's going to be disclosed, so when the buyer comes, it's not something they're going to find out. If you don't want to fix it, it's not something the buyer's going to find out that's going to kill the deal.
Right.
They're going to know about it before they ever put the offer in, because it's not going to be a surprise.
Yeah.
Man, this is
And you can already say, hey, I factored this into the pricing already. It's already
yeah,
done deal.
awesome.
Yeah.
Genius.
That is.
Seriously, I'm glad you came in to make this video. I
Thank
hope
you.
we can get this thing disseminated, because I don't care where you're selling your house in the United States. This is a really good idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Well,
Yeah.
I love talking about them,
Yeah.
and we've just really scratched the surface of,
Totally.
of just how beneficial this is to a new listing.
Yeah, well, that's unique.
We'll
Nobody else
do
can do that.
more videos, so we
Great.
can get under the surface down the road. But I mean, just the value of this video alone.
This one topic is huge.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
Well, thank you for having me.
Always
it's a
fun.
pleasure to see you guys.
All right.
Yeah,
All right.
pleasure to see you. It's
Pleasure to see you.
always fun to geek out
Always
on real
fun.
estate with you. So.
Likewise.
I love it. Love it.
I'm glad you joined us. Thanks for coming in and joining us today, Martin. And
Yeah.
we will see you guys next time on This Week in Real Estate.
See ya.